Hello, and welcome to the Sleeping Dragon's Den. My name is Grace, and I am the creator and designer of the all the jewelry and all the dragons that are in the Sleeping Dragon's Den on the Etsy shop. And today I am going to discuss how I do my resin pieces that contain alcohol inks. The resin that I use is Amazing Clear Cast. It is a two-part clear casting resin. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, so whatever you mix, make sure to mix with the other side. I have already pre-mixed the resin because when you mix your resin, you want to make sure that you use equal parts. Otherwise, it will come out either tacky or it won't set right if you don't use the 50-50 mix. I usually use a popsicle stick that you can get from your dollar store to mix it. You want to make sure to get around all the sides and the bottom so that you mix it equally. And then you will notice that you get little bubbles. If you mix it very fast, you'll get larger bubbles. If you mix it slower, you'll get the little bubbles. I will show you a couple tricks to get those bubbles out. One of the first tricks that you can use is you can actually put this bottle of resin into a cup of warm or a bowl of warm water. It'll kind of heat it up, kind of loosen it up a little bit so it'll mix a little better for you. Another trick that you can do is once you actually mix the resin, kind of let it sit for a couple minutes, a lot of the bubbles will rise to the top. Today I'm going to do these top 3 molds, and if we have any extra, then I will do this bottom mold right here. This mold I actually got off of Etsy, off of one of the shops. And you want to make sure to pour, and it will fill the sides. I don't usually fill it all the way up to the top because the ink will also take some of the part of the mold. So, and you don't want the resin spilling over the top. We'll do the next one. And make sure to leave a comment or a like if you enjoy this video. I'll do another video tomorrow, roughly about the same time, to show you how these look once you pop them out of the mold. Now, I do have a little left. I might be able to get 2 more out of this. So we'll do this one. And we'll do the teardrop shape too as well. And that's about it. Okay, now before I actually use the alcohol ink, and the ink that I use is Ranger by Tim. Tim Holtz, I believe it's pronounced. You can get them at Michael's, you can get them on Amazon, wherever it may be. But what I do is I actually take a lighter and I will light the piece before I put the ink in to kind of get any of the bubbles that I can out before we start. And you don't want to leave it on too long because you can burn the resin, but it will help to take a lot of those air bubbles out. Sometimes you'll get a larger air bubble that is a little bit pestier to get out. And I have these little tools right here that kind of help to move them up to the surface so that they pop. And then I'll do another sweep. And then we'll start with the alcohol ink. So, pretty much just kind of choose what I'm going to do. With the alcohol ink, whenever you use this, you want to make sure to use a white. The white is actually heavier. Oops, not in the camera. The white is actually heavier than the other ink, so it actually drops the ink down to the front of the piece. So for this one, we'll make this one a little pinkier. And you just do a couple drops. They usually say that you don't want to have more than 10% be ink in the resin, otherwise it doesn't set right. You will have a little bit of a tackiness on the bottom and it will remain very soft. And then just a little bit of white. This is my first video, so if it comes out a little weird, I am sorry. And then I'll just mix the other side. I'll put a little bit of purple on this side with the pink. And then a little bit more. And then as you watch the video, you'll see the ink actually kind of seep through and continue to move. This next piece I'll do like a green and blue. And it just slowly moves through the piece. Go ahead and ask me any questions that you want. I will be taking a look at this video later. Answering any questions that might pop up in the comments section. Let's do something a little different. And sometimes you never know how these are going to turn out. Sometimes you think they're going to turn out one way and totally surprise you. There's some pieces that I thought were going to be a little better than what they were, and some of them I were like, oh, that's not going to turn out too good, and it ended up turning out great. And I'm trying to move fast here, so now I'm dripping my ink on the other ones. But it can still turn out pretty good. The next one I will use a red. And then maybe let's do a blue. It kind of turned out to be more of an orange. And then let's throw purple behind it and see how it turns out. All the pendants that I make you can find on the Etsy shop, www.etsy/shop/sleepingdragonsden. There is currently a special going on where if you buy more than one item, you will get 10% off your total purchase. So keep that in mind. Next one I'm going to try and do maybe like a little beach design on this teardrop. I'm left-handed, so I'm kind of working around this camera here a little bit. And this one I'm going to do at the same time so that the colors kind of run together. So that was gray and blue, and then I'll use like a brown and a lighter blue to help it look more like the ocean. I did one piece not too long ago where I thought it was going to look more like the ocean, and it ended up turning out like a city sky. I haven't finished that one completely yet, but I have a feeling it's going to look really cool when I'm done. Do a little bit of light blue there. And some brown. By the time I'm done doing pendants, usually the next day my hands look like I did arts and crafts with my kids. I'll put another one over here and do a different color blue. That one I have a feeling is going to be very cool, and that one just kind of blew up on me, so I always have paper towel every time I do this because you never know what's gonna happen. And then we'll do like a blue and a purple with maybe like a lighter blue behind. And a pink. Like I said before, the white always drops down the resin ink. So you get that petri dish look, or sometimes they'll turn out like watercolors. Oh yeah, the lighter blue. Now, sometimes you'll notice that your resin will kind of, or your ink, your alcohol ink will kind of seep away from the edges of the mold. For that, I do have this small little pinpoint tool. All of them seems, except for this one. This one doesn't seem to want to go all the way to the edge. You can do different things with this too. I mean, you can do like a swirl design, start from the center and work all the way out, and it will show the design on the other side once it dries. Resin, always check your cure times. This resin that I'm using is a 12 to 24 hour cure time. So that's why I said I'll do a part 2 tomorrow to show you how they actually look when they come out. A lot of times too, what I'll do, and you have to be very careful with this because I have lit the pieces on fire quite frequently, but you can do another sweep, and that one's gonna light maybe, yep, just make sure to blow it out. And that just helps to get out any of the last bubbles. And then these two I will leave because I don't want the heat to actually move the alcohol ink any more than it already has. But that's pretty much it. I tried to keep the video pretty short for you guys, but like I said before, if you have any questions about anything that I do, any of the products that I sell, shoot me a message or send me a comment, and make sure to like this video. Thank you again for watching. See you around the Dragon's Den.